learning about today?
Well, we're about to enter the season of Easter, not too far away. And, one of the fun activities we enjoy around Easter is decorating and coloring eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm amazed that, our resident birds actually have been doing that for a long time. They add color and patterns to their eggs. I don't know how many you've ever seen. Of course, it is against the law to collect eggs. So what I have here are some replicas or reproductions. And that's a little blue colored egg there. It's actually from an American robin, one of our more.
Oh, you know what? Now you say I've seen a couple of those in nests out the window and stuff. That's a robin egg. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Nice. And we really have some interesting ones. It's a little bit larger bird called an osprey or fish hawk.
Oh, wow.
See that beautiful
I've
color?
seen the nest and the signs down at Lake Wiley. That actually looks like some of the eggs that I try to make look pretty. That's not a pretty egg, Dr. Steve.
Well, yeah. And so, nice ink and pattern there. And, when the female's producing the egg in her body, she puts the calcium on as it travels down the tract. And actually, these pigments actually get put on there before the egg is laid. So they actually do add that color right before they lay their egg.
It almost looks like some kind of camouflage or something right there.
Exactly. That's probably what that purpose is for that color and pattern. And then, we actually have a larger egg here. This is from the bald eagle. Now, you don't color that.
Wow. Okay, replica egg right there, bald eagle. Wow,
that is definitely a replica. We're not
that's
collecting bald eagles.
That's a little bit bigger than the eggs for breakfast.
That's right. That's right.
There, but that's still a pretty good size egg.
But, bald eagles are endangered or put on the endangered species list. They're actually doing better now. And their eggs are part of that story. And it's a weird connection. Do you remember the mosquito trucks that went around spraying in the late summer evenings
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, they used to use a pesticide called DDT, which was very dangerous. And we didn't know that it would get into the water supplies and get into fish, and that eagles eating the fish would get that DDT in their system. And one of the effects it had was to make the females have their eggshells be very, very thin, so thin that the eggs would be crushed under the weight of the females. And that's why the eagle population started plunging, and we had to put them on the endangered species list.
Wow.
We have banned DDT in this country for a while now, and the eagle populations have really bounced back.
I remember something about that. Now you say that. That's some amazing stuff. And I know you're always kind of putting me on the spot or quizzing me with something here before we get into segment 2.
Yes, indeed. So my question for you is, we think of eggs, we think of birds. Well, are there any mammals that lay eggs?
Oh, goodness. The one down in New Zealand or something, or doesn't the platypus lay eggs?
Okay, good one.
Did I get it?
You got it right. And so when we, I want to show you one of those in a little while.
You have a platypus egg? Did I just ruin the quiz? I think I did it. I'm learning something on homeschool. It's Dr. Steve right here, York County Museum. Hey, I'm a thinker too. This is WCCB Charlotte. We'll be right back. He didn't think I was going to get that. We were talking earlier in the hour leading into Easter, learning all about eggs.
That's right. And I had asked you a question at the end of the last segment. We think of eggs, we normally think of birds. But I asked you, are there any mammals that actually lay eggs?
And you thought you had me, but
I did.
I knew this one. The platypus is kind of an interesting creature in a lot of ways, but it is a mammal that lays eggs. Oh, wow. Look at that. Now, for people that don't know, you can see that why is the platypus so, besides the egg thing and all that stuff, it's kind of just one of nature's oddities, isn't it?
It is. And, as you know, a lot of animals that live in Australia and New Zealand are very strange. It's because that large continent has been isolated from the rest of the world for a long time, a large continent. And so those animals have lived in isolation for a long time. And they've actually retained some relatively primitive features. The first mammals were egg layers. And so a lot of people see this and they say, well, it looks like a cross between a small beaver and a duck. But in fact, it is a legitimate mammal. And the scientific name for these are monotremes. And I will get you on this one, Wilson, because platypi are not the only egg-laying mammals. I don't have one to show you, but there is another species that lives down there in Australia that is an egg-laying mammal.
An egg-laying mammal down there. Oh boy, I think I gave all my knowledge up on that first one there, and now I got that first question. Now you're like, okay, smart guy, I got you. It's not a Tasmanian devil or something. I don't know. What's the other one?
Have you ever heard of a spiny anteater or an echidna? Echidna.
No.
Yeah, there's a species called an echidna that's related to these. They also lay eggs, but the only ones that do this are living in Australia and New Zealand.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, and none of those are around here, but
No.
that's some pretty. It is kind of amazing, and I know in your field, kind of just what nature will throw at you every once in a while, isn't it?
And something really funny is when the first specimens of these things were sent back to the United Kingdom, the scientists there thought it was a hoax. They didn't believe that somebody was actually finding these specimens because they would find them in the field and they would mount them and send them back to the museum. And the scientists at the British museums thought somebody was trying to pull a fast one on them and sewed some animal parts together.
Wow. Well, if you've never seen it before, you might just think that the first kind of they thought they were getting punked back in the day.
And that's exactly right.
Always great stuff with Dr. Steve. We always learn a little bit with you, and looking forward to getting down to the York County Museum, that light at the end of the tunnel. Everybody get the vaccine. Good stuff. Dr. Steve, as always, thank you, my friend.
It's always a pleasure, Wilson. Thank you.